We move on to question number 40 in the name of Deputy Niamh Smith. 30 seconds to introduce.
Thank you, Ceann Comhairle. Minister, could you please inform the House here today the Defence Forces, your plans for the Defence Forces in counties Cavan and Monaghan and the Greater Border region in view of Brexit and the possible reintroduction of a hard border, and if you'll make a statement on the matter?
I propose to take questions 40 and 62 together. Okay. As part of the whole-of-government approach, my department is engaged in forward planning for the UK exit from the EU. While the nature of the border will be decided during the course of the negotiations, it is this government's stated goal to try to ensure that the current on-island border arrangements are maintained to the greatest extent possible. Primary responsibility for the internal security of the state rests with the Department of Justice and Equality and on Garda Síochána. Responsibility for the security aspect of the border control rests with An Garda Síochána, while the Revenue Commissioners have responsibility relating to their particular mandate. Among the roles assigned to the Defence Force in the White Paper on Defence is the provision of aid to the civil power, which in practice means to provide assistance to sport to An Garda Síochána when requested to do so. The Defence Forces also provide support to the Revenue Commissioners. The fact of a UK exit from the EU does not of itself give rise to additional border control requirements at this time. The Defence Forces at all times keep operational plans under constant review. There is ongoing close liaison between An Garda Síochána and the Defence Forces regarding security matters, and regular coordination and liaison meetings take place. In recent years, a range of measures have been introduced in order to ensure that operational readiness and deployability of the Defence Forces are maintained to the greatest extent possible. These measures included barrack closures and the consolidation of the understrength Army brigades into 2 revised Army brigades. This involved the redeployment of personnel from headquarters and administrative posts into frontline operation units, which has improved the overarching capacity of the Defence Forces. In conclusion, Ceann Comhairle, I am satisfied that the White Paper on Defence sets out an appropriate blueprint for the development of the Defence Forces. There are currently no plans to reintroduce Army barracks in counties Cavan, Monaghan or the Greater Border region.
Deputy Smith, for supplementary. 1 minute.
Minister, I have to say I am very concerned today to read further reports in relation to the reintroduction of a very hard border, which I have to say differ very much from what the Government has said in this very chamber. According to reports in today's Irish Examiner, internal documents show that the Government is preparing for a return to a hard border in the wake of Brexit, including the return of full green and red channel checkpoints. This is very concerning for my own constituency of Cavan and Monaghan, where we have no Army barracks at present and the Garda numbers are completely stretched. I quote today's report when I say the extent of the contingency plan revealed by the documents is a stark contrast to the public statements by An Taoiseach to date that a move towards a hard border would have very negative consequences for Ireland. The document appears to suggest a departure from the Government's stated strategy to date to ensure a continued free flow of trade on the island and the need to avoid a hard border. So, Minister, can I just ask you, what is the plan?
Minister, 1 minute.
Let me state to the Deputy the Government wants the current arrangements to continue, and as I have stated in my reply, that this is part of the whole-of-government approach, and that my department is engaged in the forward planning for the UK exit from the EU. But let me remind the Deputy that when the Prime Minister of the British Prime Minister was here in the UK, in Ireland a number of weeks ago, one of the top items on the agenda was a hard border, and the Deputy refers to an article in the Examiner, and this refers to customs checkpoints It doesn't refer to the Defence Forces and in Garda Síochána being involved on a hard border. It refers to the Customs and Excise, and that is a totally different conversation, because you're talking about trade between a member of the European Union and a non-member of the European Union. But I can assure the Deputy I have actually met my own counterpart in the UK on, after the Brexit vote, and this is one of the issues that I raised specifically with him.
Deputy Smith.
Military barracks across Lifford, Rockhill, Kilkenny, Cavan, Cootehill, Monaghan, Castleblaney and Longford were shut down as part of the major reorganisation of the Defence Forces which began in 2012. Most of these properties or sites have been sold on. Between Finner Camp in County Donegal and Aiken Barracks in Dundalk, which is approximately a 500-kilometre of border, there is no military barracks, with only 2 infantry battalions manning the entire border area controlled by a headquarters in Rathmines in Dublin. So I ask you, Minister, are we adequately, in my constituency of Cavan and Monaghan, in light of Brexit, properly prepared? When both of our army barracks have been closed and members are faced with travelling large distances for little money, some of them who have told me been forced to sleep in their cars due to the expenses of their mortgages, providing for their families and travelling massive journeys to and from work. On top of all this, businesses are concerned, farmers are concerned, there are concerns of how peace funding will be affected, and the relations and wounds of the past, of course, that have taken so long to mend will be ruptured.
Let me assure the Deputy the Government has a very comprehensive Brexit plan in place, and once Article 50 is triggered, I can assure that we will be very much involved in the negotiations. But let me state to the Deputy on the Defence Forces side that the consolidation of the Defence Forces formations into a smaller number of locations was a key objective in the ongoing Defence Modernisation Programme. On the 15th of November 2011, the Government approved a proposal from the then Minister for Defence to proceed with a further phase of consolidation of Defence Forces personnel to fewer locations, with the closure of 4 military barracks, including Union Barracks in Cavan. In addition to the barracks, Cavan barracks located at Castlebar, Mayo, Clonmel, Mullingar were closed in March 2012. Following the Government's decision, officials from my department wrote to each Government department, various agencies and local authorities seeking expressions of interest for what they would like to do with each of the barracks. But I can assure you, Deputy, that my department and myself as Minister with responsibility of defence is very much have our own plans in place as of Brexit, as every other department has. It's a comprehensive plan from a whole of government approach.